Welcome to a special morning edition of Wall Street Confidential. I'm Aaron Task here with Jim Cramer. Jim, pre-market as we're talking here, it looks like technology stocks again are going to be the leadership here. News from eBay, Qualcomm, Nokia getting the bulls.
It's interesting.
Again.
In every single one of these, it's because the expectations got so lowered. Nokia expectations came down because of bad Motorola calls, so that's why there can be a pop. Qualcomm lowered its own expectations, so that's going up. eBay, if you check the press stories ahead of when it reported, in each case they said it's going to be a bad quarter. So these are all lowered bar beats, which is often what you want for a pop, but not what you want for a month from now.
Okay, well, let's talk about eBay. You've been critical of Meg Whitman. Does this quarter...
On December 7th, I said you must own the stock.
You must own the stock.
You must own the stock. The stock's going much higher.
Does this quarter get them over the hump?
This quarter was definitive in terms of PayPal crushing Google. It also the admittance and the lowered expectations of Skype allows her to be able to ramp Skype for Google and Yahoo next quarter. So she set herself up for another good quarter. You take a little off the table because it's moved 10%, but eBay is finally where you want it. Big cash generator with a stable but not improving listings business, but other businesses doing much better.
Okay, and Qualcomm, as you mentioned, beating their own lowered guidance. They also put down guidance for 07 last night, but the ASPs are going to be higher. Is that the key for Qualcomm?
I think Qualcomm is a dishonest company. I think that a lot of what they do is set expectations that are really based on winning lawsuits or are extracting or extorting from their own customers, and that's why I felt that the stock is a dubious stock. But at the same time, they're very convincing when they tell the story, so it does tend to move up.
Right, and you're referring, I assume, to the license agreement with Nokia. How do you see that playing out?
All the license agreements are all just about tug of war, and I think they lose in the end because they are just a supplier. That's why I think the multiple's shrinking.
So you would be selling into a rally here if you own Qualcomm?
I don't like Qualcomm. I think this rally will last 2 or 3 points.
Okay, before we move on from tech, Microsoft reporting after the close tonight.
Well, Microsoft's a favored stock now, and all it has to do is not screw up, which it won't, and the stock can go higher. The multiple's still not that great. People are looking for big cap tech. I've been emphasizing Microsoft, Cisco, Google all look good. Hewlett-Packard and Apple. I've been saying sell peripherals. Seagate reports a good number. We sold Seagate for ActionAlertsPlus.com. Comag reported a bad number. I don't like the cell phone group. Interesting upgrade today by Bank of America for Best Buy. Remember, a lot of gadgets sold at Best Buy. Maybe that is safe after Corning said good things about big screen TVs. But I just think this group is neither here nor there. And when you get a pop in a stock, other than the 5 faves I have, I think you take it.
Okay, and moving on to the rails. Yesterday we talked about how you said Norfolk Southern was not a tell for the group.
Right.
Union Pacific today,
just a huge
earnings.
Blowout. Been buying that stock for Action Alerts. Don't think it'll come in. Feel that Michael Ward from CSX made the great secular case. It more has to do with alternatives. Away from the rails, the trucking companies just aren't doing well. The rails made a decision about 3-4 years ago that they were no longer going to compete, that they've divided the country. Because we have no real Justice Department in the country, that's been allowed. The Justice Department wants companies to make as much money as possible. Right,
so collusion by the rails is a good thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, did they get in a hotel room and decide that this part of the country is theirs and this part of the country? Maybe.
Okay. Union Pacific, and you again think it's going higher?
That's a blowout, just a huge blowout. Goes to 110.
Because you were surprised that they were able to overcome some of the bad weather conditions.
Yeah, no, this was a monster quarter, and it also shows that utilization is really high. They've got to build more. All these companies need more trains.
Can you explain a little more, because you referenced this yesterday too, the issue with the trucking companies, the infrastructure problems, the highways?
Yeah, well, they don't have enough drivers, first of all. There's just not enough people who know how to do trucking, and it's not a job people want anymore. Also, we just have we have an inferior road system because the government has decided not to put a lot of money into this business. It's we're cutting taxes, we're spending a lot on the war, and this is just an area that the trucking companies have lost on. They had gotten a great. Remember, the rails built their own infrastructure. The trucking companies relied on the federal government to do so. Federal government has pulled back from this business, and that hurts the trucking companies immensely.
It's the victory of the free market, I know.
Yeah.
If your old partner Larry Kudlow was here, I know what he'd say. But let's move on to another free market company that, on harder times, Ford. a big loss for the quarter. Talking
Ford's
about
now
tougher
loved.
challenges again.
Mullally is getting a tremendous grace period here, and he's saying all the right things. He's cutting back production again. What you do when you see Ford cutting back production and trying to get its balance sheet right-sized and its factories right-sized is just buy more Toyota.
Right. And there was a story the other day about Toyota and Ford possibly collaborating. Do you think that is just to help Ford stay alive?
I think Ford wants to collaborate with someone. Ford's going to be a small company. They need partners overseas in particular.
Okay, Jim, thanks very much.
Thank you.
I'm Aaron Task. Stay tuned for more of TheStreet.com TV.